Okay, pre-cal students, in this video we will be learning a process called solving right triangles. This is a process where parts of a right triangle are missing and we solve for those missing parts. Now understand there are 6 parts to a triangle, okay? There are 3 sides, obviously, and there are 3 angles, okay? So when we say we're going to solve a right triangle, what that means is if there's any missing sides or if there's missing any angles, we are going to find those missing sides or missing angles. Now, you can also solve triangles that are not right triangles. We're just not going to get into it in that lesson, but we will get into that later on this school year or later on in this chapter, okay? All right, let's continue on. Your heading for today is solving right triangles. The lesson number is 9.8, and be sure and include today's date, please, okay? Once again, your heading is solving right triangles, lesson 9.8, and be sure and include today's date in your notes. Now, in order to solve a right triangle, you must know 3 parts, okay? And one of those 3 parts must be a side. In other words, if I told you the 3 angles in a triangle were 50, 80, and 50, you could not solve that triangle. Because students, think about it, a triangle that has 50, 50, and 80 could be a little triangle like this with 50, 50, 80, or it could be a larger triangle that still had 50, 50, 80 for its angles. And so it's impossible to solve a triangle unless you know at least 3 parts, and one of those parts has to be a side, okay? Now, understand when you're solving right triangles, think about it. By the definition of a right triangle, you already know one part for sure, and that's the right angle. I mean, if you have a right triangle, then obviously you have to have a right angle. So you already know one part right off the bat, okay? So keep that in mind. But once again, this is a real important comment. Please know this, okay? In order to solve a right triangle, or for that matter, any triangle, you must know at least 3 parts, and one of those parts has to be a side, okay? All right, let's quickly go over the letters that will be used in this section of the book for the angles and the sides. And by the way, what I'm going to show you right now is standard for just about any math book at all when it comes to solving triangles, okay? So take some notes on this, please. And let's not take notes on that. Sorry about that. All right, let's take some notes on this real quick. Go ahead and draw a right triangle if you would. Obviously, I'm having my struggles today. There we go. Go ahead and draw a right triangle. Thank you. And usually the right angle is going to be capital letter C, okay? So make note of that. Always, though, students, always, the side across from angle C will be little c. And if this angle here is called capital A, then the side directly across from it will be called little a. And if this angle up here is called capital B, then the side directly across will be called little b. Now here's what's standard in this math book, and really any math book at all, when it comes to solving triangles. The capital letters A, B, and C are used for the angles 99% of the time. In today's lesson, it'll be 100% of the time, okay? If you want to take notes on this, I'm not going to test you on this, but it'll be really good to know. So when you're solving problems out of the book, you'll know what these letters stand for. Letter C is going to be the right angle 99% of the time, just about every time, okay? And then 100% of the time, whatever the angle is, you always use the lowercase letter for the side across from this angle. So whatever angle A is, the side across from it will be little a. Whatever angle B is, the side across from it will be little b. And whatever angle C is, the side across from it will be little c. Okay? So it's real important you take notes on that. Pause the video if you need to. Make sure you understand all of this. Okay, students? All right. Let's go ahead and clear this off and let's continue on. Now, here are some tips that will help you solve right triangles. Please copy these down. I don't really call them steps. They're just tips, things to keep in mind. Okay, number 1, If you know two angles, well, the missing angle must be a number that makes all three angles add up to 180. You should remember that from geometry. The three interior angles of a triangle always have a sum of 180. So if you know two angles, quickly find the third missing angle. Tip number two, if you know two sides, now remember, we're not always going to be dealing with right triangles, but today we are, so take advantage of it, okay? You can use Pythagorean's theorem if you know two sides. It works great on finding the third side. And of course, you can only use Pythagorean's theorem when you're using right triangles, but that's what we're using today is right triangles. So if you know two sides, quickly find the third side by using Pythagorean's theorem, okay? Number three, if you only know one angle, get into the habit, this is so important, students, please listen. Get into the habit of solving for the smaller angle first, please. If you only know one angle, get into the habit of solving for the smaller angle first. Well, Mr. Earhart, how do we know which angle is smaller if we're missing two angles? Well, I'm glad you asked, okay? Take some notes on this, okay? Watch. Look, if I'm telling you now I have a right angle here that's 90 degrees, and I have a length here of 3 and a length here of 5. Of course, we would quickly use Pythagorean's theorem to find the third side, and we would get 9 plus 25, you get the square root of 34. That's fine. But then look at tip 3. If you only know one angle, which we do, we only know the 90 degrees, get into the habit of solving for the smaller angle first. Well, Mr. Earhart, how do we know? Is this angle here smaller, or is this angle here smaller? Well, remember, you should have learned this in geometry. The smallest angle is always across from the smallest side. So let me get my red marker here. See this angle here? I'm going to go straight across to 3. See this angle here? I'm going to go straight across to 5. Now, which side is smaller, 3 or 5? Well, 3 is. Which angle is across from 3? This angle. So this angle here is smaller than this angle here because this angle up here is across from the smaller side. Okay? All right, very good. So these three tips here will be very helpful for you, okay? Now, I don't believe in doing a lot of practice problems in class in your notes. If it's something you should be able to understand pretty quickly, okay? And so when I don't need to give you a lot of examples, I'm not going to. I would rather give you more time to work on your homework. That gives you more free time at home, more family time, and also there's just no need to bore you. So with that in mind, we're just going to look at two examples and then we'll be done today. All right, so here we go. Please take some really good notes. Let's go ahead and solve this right triangle right here, okay? Now we have capital letter A and capital letter C. So we know for sure we're dealing with two angles. So I'm going to go ahead and students, don't worry about drawing your triangle to scale. That does not matter, okay? Just draw a right triangle and fill in the missing sides. It doesn't matter, okay? So we're going to call this A. We're going to call this B, and C is usually the right angle, and it is. C is 90. So I'm going to put 90 degrees here. Angle A is 34.2 degrees. All right, now, like I mentioned before, if you know two angles, find the third angle very quickly. So 90 plus 34.2 would be 124.2. All right, now let's take that and subtract it from 180. And of course, you would get 0.8 here, I believe 55.8. Yes, 55.8. So just like that, we found the measure of angle B. So I'm going to go ahead and put angle B equals 55.8. So there we go. We're moving right along. The only thing we have left to find now would be the two missing sides. And I forgot to put down what little b is. Here's angle B. So we go straight across. This is little b over here. And we know little b, according to what's given to us, is 19.4. Okay? 19.4. Now, right here, I'm going to go ahead and put 55.8 degrees. All right? Now, we're missing little letter A, and we're missing little letter C. All right? So, students, it really doesn't matter which side you solve for first at all. I'm going to solve for the missing leg here, letter A, because I feel like it, no certain reason. So, If I'm looking for A and I only know one side, I'm going to have to use my trig functions, either sine, cosine, or tangent. Okay, now pick an angle, and you never use 90 degrees when you're trying to use sine, cosine, or tangent. So we're either going to use 34.2 or 55.8. And students, it does not matter which one you use. Okay, I'm just going to choose this because I feel like it. So if I choose 34.2, let's go straight across. This is called my what side over here? My opposite side. And my known side, 19.4, is called my adjacent side. So there's no way, students, I want to deal with A and C. They're both unknown. That's going to be a mess. I only want one unknown at a time. So you could have solved for C first. That'd be fine. I just chose to solve for A first. So the two sides I'm dealing with are opposite and adjacent. Now, which trig function over here deals with opposite and adjacent? What tangent does? So the tangent of 34.2 equals opposite over adjacent. There we go. Now we're going to multiply both sides by 19.4. So 19.4 tangent 34.2 equals A. And now, because we're dealing with degrees, make sure your calculator's in degrees. With your calculator, you would type in 19.4 times the tangent of 34.2, and you would get out the length of A. So students, real quick with my calculator here, I'm typing in 19.4 and then tangent and then 34.2. Enter. Make sure I'm in degrees. And I'm getting 13.18. So I'm going to go ahead and put 13.2 for letter A right here. All right, so there we go. 13.2. All right. Now, students, you are more than welcome to use a trig function to solve for side C. I have no problem with that. Okay. For me, and you could do that, it's totally fine. For me, I'm going to use Pythagorean's theorem. I know one leg is 19.4. and I know another leg is 13.2. So for me, it's just easier to take my calculator and say one of my legs is 19.4 squared plus my other leg is 13.2 squared equals C squared. And then very quickly, I'm just going to type in 19.4 squared plus 13.2 squared equals, and I'm getting this number here, 550.6 equals C squared. Hopefully I didn't type in anything wrong. Go ahead and take the square root of both sides, and you're going to get 23.46. 0.46486736. I'm just going to put 23.5. So 23.5 equals C. So C is 23.5. So students, there we go. We solved the right triangle. Okay. Now in this example up here that we just did, notice we were given two angles and one side. So now in the next example, we're going to be given two sides and one angle. Okay. Let's go ahead and fill this out and see how we do. So here we go. Triangle number, or problem number 2 right here. So let's call this A. We'll call this C. We'll call this B. We know C is 90. And by the way, students, if you put B up here and A down here, it really doesn't matter, okay? It does not matter one bit. All right, so here we go. Let's continue on. Side A goes across from angle A, so 25 goes right here. Side C goes across from angle C, so your hypotenuse is 35. Now, students, in my tips that I gave you, I encourage you to find, if you know two sides, to use Pythagorean's theorem and find that third side quickly. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my formula, Pythagorean's theorem, L squared plus L squared equals 8 squared. So one of my legs, this is B right here, so one of my legs is B, so B squared. My other leg is 25, so 25 squared. My hypotenuse is 35, so 35 squared. So next, I would have B squared plus 625 equals, 1,225. Then subtract 625 from both sides, and we will get 600. Then take the square root of that, and you will get 24.49. I'm going to go ahead and put 24.5, okay? So there we go. All right, letter B right here. Is going to be 24.5. All right. Now, students, listen to me carefully. We want to always solve for the smallest angle first. So you look at your two legs. Actually, you don't. You look at your two missing angles. You're missing this angle here, and you're missing this angle here. Go straight across, 24.5 from angle A. Go straight across, you get 25. Which side is smaller? Well, 24.5 is smaller. So if 24.5 is smaller, then that means the angle across from 24.5 is the smaller angle. So angle B is your smaller angle, so we're going to solve for angle B. So students, please listen to me. If I'm solving for angle B, which I am, then go straight across. This is called your what side? Opposite. This is called your what side here? Adjacent. And this is called your what side here? Your hypotenuse. Okay? Now, listen, students. If we're going to solve for angle B, which we are, we need to use a trig function. And students, you're welcome to use the opposite side. But notice the opposite side has 24.5. And that's a decimal. You're welcome to use this side, but it's going to be a pain. I'm going to use these two sides here because they're whole numbers. It's just kind of like common sense and just thinking it through, you know. Whole numbers are better than decimals, all right? So I'm going to use these two sides right here. So I'm going to use hypotenuse and adjacent. Now, which trig function uses hypotenuse and adjacent? Well, cosine does. So cosine of angle B, that's the angle I'm looking for, equals adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay, students? So here we go. We know how to do this. We're looking for an angle, so we hit into our calculator. We type into our calculators second cosine. So this pops up on our screen. And then we type in 25 divided by 35. Make sure that you're in degree mode. Let me do that real quick here. Second cosine, 25 divided by 35. And I'm getting 44.41. So I'm going to put 44 degrees. 44 degrees for angle B. There we go. All right. So I solved for side B. Let me write that down up here. I solved for side B earlier, and side B was 24.5. Now I just solved for angle B, and angle B is 44 degrees. Now, students, think about it. If we know this angle is 90 and this angle is 44, let's just take 90 plus 44, and we get 134, and then subtract that from 180, and you'll get 46 degrees. Okay, so angle A has to be 46 degrees. So angle A equals 46, and that's why I really feel like we only need to do a couple of these for your notes. It's pretty simple math. Okay, so solving right triangles, and real quick again, let's look at some steps here, or some tips. If you know two angles, find the third angle quickly by seeing what you would need for the three angles to have a sum of 180. If you know two sides and you're dealing with the right triangle, use Pythagorean Theorem. And then 3, if you only know one angle, get into the habit of solving for the smaller angle first. Okay, that's really, really, really important. Okay, guys? Okay, hope this video has been a help to you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call or email.